Dreamyoungmedia live. Like, comment, subscribe. Dreamyoungmedia live. Like, comment, subscribe.
Tell us a little bit about your background, and then after that, let's get into the various organizations and what they really focus on.
Yeah. I am a long time autism specialist, and I worked as a behavioral interventionist. That's how I got started into this field 30 years ago, actually. And then after that, I got trained in a relationship-based approach. So through behavioral therapy, I would train other people, and through the relationship-based program, at our clinic, we only work with parents. And then in 2019, I started the nonprofit Autism Career Pathways, because after doing this for 30 years, my little clients grew up, and some of them have multiple degrees, and they can't even get a summer job at Domino's, even though they are the pizza expert.
Yeah.
They love it.
Wow.
They love it. So it just prompted me, their failures, their inability to be employed really made me think about, what's all this hard work for? I watched them grow up. I was a partner to their family. They're such great people, all of them. They
do become your family, don't they?
They do. They're like my own kids.
Yeah. And also in the industry, you're with them for so long. We were on the front lines doing it for a lot of years as well, and we met them at the age of a few of our consumers we met at the age of 25, and then we stayed 10 to 15 years with them. Right. And so you actually see them grow up and develop and become something more during those years. So that becomes it just makes you more invested.
Sure. Yeah, but I just feel I realized that the world is not ready for neurodivergent people, because neurodivergent people are being asked to fit into the neurotypical mold, and that's really a problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I created Autism Career Pathways with other autistic people. And my story has come full circle, because I am also a late diagnosed, autistic woman with sensory processing disorder and auditory processing disorder. I learned that I have dyscalculia, which is number dyslexia, and I have a couple of other co-occurring conditions commonly associated with being autistic. And so now I know why I'm here, and why for 30 years I just kept restarting. People ask me, why do you want to start something new at your age? I can't just sit still.
It's never too late. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not like I loved what I did, of course, and all these trainings that I got, a certification, I loved it. I was certified in relationship development intervention for 20 years. So I left that behind because I felt like there's something missing, and now I know that missing part is really to create something as part of the autistic community, using my own true identity as an autistic person. So it's,
That's awesome. Our whole thing, just to let you know, is we got this saying, and we like to say, know your purpose. That's what we used to tell our consumers. That's what it should be about. I know you can't always make money, living out your purpose. Sometimes it should be just something that you do on the side while you're still making an income. But some people who are lucky enough to live their purpose and still make an income, that's the beautiful connection. And so if you're one of those people, that's great. And so that's why I think your story is pretty magical, because you also have your master's degree.
Yes. I'm a curriculum designer. I got my master's degree online, actually.
Wow.
It was the only way I could do it, online, because school was not easy for me, because, when you go to a university, everything is in the format of like lectures, and you have to read lots of research papers and textbooks. It's just not suitable for autistic people with learning differences. So if I hear my professor doing a lecture and I'm supposed to integrate what I hear to the textbook or what's written in front of me and expected to take notes, I cannot multi-process that way. That's auditory processing challenges,
Yeah.
So like, plus being in a room full of people, it's just noise coming, not just from people, your classmates, but also from, I have super hearing. I can hear the buzzing from the light, and I hear insects. I don't like
That sounds like
insects.
her.
I could hear, when they say super like abilities, that's not a good thing, for me anyways.
Yeah,
when you're so hypersensitive, it's so distracting. And I went to UCLA and I managed to survive and graduate. But it wasn't easy. So when I got my master's degree, online programs, I think for other autistic people, it's awesome. It's self-paced. You can choose what you're to write about or to do research in what you're interested in. I think it was really a game changer for me. It was still hard, but I advise for autistic people to do that, to do online learning and programs.
And that's great. That's great. We just released a video about a gentleman who got accepted to Stanford.
Right.
And he went through. I don't know if you've seen that video. I think you actually liked it on Instagram, I believe. I'm not sure, but he went to he got accepted to Stanford, and he just needed a couple of extra, just a little bit more of assistance.
Yes.
And they would not extend that to him. And he went through the rigorous, just qualification of the application process and everything that goes into that. And they just wouldn't extend that to him. He had to actually fight for it. Yeah. And then when other students found out about it, they started supporting him. And of course, everybody kind of rallied around him at one point. He got needed to follow through.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
These things happen so often. They're so just not, of course, put on like the front page of the news. You never hear about it.
Yeah, we have to dig for these stories. We have to dig for them and try to kind of re-expose them on a broader scale. And that's kind of what we really are focused on doing.
Yeah.
We used to run a training center and on the front lines doing that and helping people with special needs, just learn basic computer skills, basic math skills, just general art skills on computers and things like that. And we restructured everything to actually, just raise awareness. And now we're doing everything online. So we're pretty much like a hub. Yeah. And we want to just be like a launch pad for anything with the special needs related. That's really what it's about.
Yeah. Well, I think so. When I started Autism Career Pathways, it's such a complex issue, right? It's not just training the job seekers to help them, prepare them to be more career ready, but also where can they go? Who will hire them? Yeah. Right. Yes. And in 2019, I stepped down from Catch Clinic, which is the parent coaching clinic that I own with my husband, and to just really research and learn about neurodivergent employability. And it's a jungle out there, and every organization I talk to, they all have the same question. Do you have the database of willing businesses who can offer internships or hiring? Well, any kind of hiring, part-time, full-time. The database is very minimal.
Yeah, it is.
And I got a small grant to host Autism Goes to Work last year. And my idea was to bring all these autistic talents into this event and have just our community where I live, Redwood City, Palo Alto, which is where Stanford is, to just come together and meet all these talents. There's a face behind autism. Like, autistic people are so diverse.
Yeah.
So I had autistic artists, autistic author advocates. I had a autistic band, like they were going to come. Already bought the plane tickets and everything, and autistic art exhibition as part of it. And we put the art up into the venue, and the next day it was shut down. So the whole thing was canceled.
Wow.
So I ended up like April, May of last year, just helping these people to get their airfare refunded, basically, and the art got stuck in the venue until I got them back in the fall, because it was shut down. So there were a lot of things like that. And okay, so I digress. So the reason I talked about this, because as part of that event, I was going to approach our Chamber of Commerce, our business development in our city. The interest was barely lukewarm.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart. Yes, the event didn't happen, but what do we have to do to really have people just, be open, listen, and ask questions?
Right? I mean, also the need for it.
Yeah, it is. And to put this in the spotlight. And I noticed, you see, I actually track some of the information online when it comes to businesses like yours, and like what we do. And we're struggling for the views. We're struggling for the attention. We're struggling for our platforms to really get the notoriety and the funding. A lot of these other, if you were, and I think I mentioned this in a previous interview, but if you were to put up something that was very colorful or something that's very, I guess, seductive, that gets a lot of traction online. That gets a lot of traction. People want to support that and fund those type of organizations or individuals. Well, something like this, it's not like a lot of people saying, "Hey, here, I'll help you any way I can."
Right.
It's not out there like that. So you have to go digging for it, or you got to create your own platform and pray for the best outcome.
It's not but it's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in 2019. I created the Capable tool. That's a career screening tool. So my dream is to have small to medium-sized businesses use this work skill assessment to replace a verbal interview. So this is something that you might be interested, because I'm very passionate to help people who are more impacted by their special needs conditions, whatever that may be, right? And people who don't use computers, people who definitely cannot pass verbal job interviews. That's what it's for. And so it's done. I did the pilot, and then, I was hoping that our event, the Career Expo, would gain some interest from businesses in my community to say, oh yeah, we want to learn about these work skill assessment, we want to use it and so on. So post-COVID, I'm hoping to partner up with some businesses who will say, yeah, show us what it looks like, and we want to learn about it. So I think that if all kinds of businesses and companies can take on neurodivergent hiring completely in-house, so they don't have to call like other organizations, they don't have to be on the waiting list for employment specialists to have availability to shadow, an autistic person, to do a trial at the cafeteria.
Exactly.
At that rate, it's gonna be so slow. So that's my goal. To help this world tap into all kinds of talents of people who are just like a little different.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about that, the career assessment screening tool. And I saw, because I was, looking at the videos with Krista, Alex, and Mateo. Wonderful.
Thank you.
So, but I did want you to touch bases on the workspace mentorship training program. Can you go into detail about that?
Yes. So our plan is to put together autistic advocates who enjoy online teaching. so this group of people can do online classes, monthly online classes for families of raising autistic youth, so that they can develop a workbook, career workbook.
Okay.
And I develop a curriculum to explore autistic special interests. Special interest is very important, by the way.
Okay.
It's very important because it gives us a leverage when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to abilities, when it comes to a pathway to just explore new things related to one's special interests, right? My brother was always been, ever since he was a little boy, was always been interested in cars. For example, he learned to drive at the age of 13. I grew up in a different country, like in Asia, and he learned how to take out a car engine like as a teenager, and today he's a very successful businessman, owner of an auto detail shop. So this is what I mean, special interest.
Right.
It's something that goes beyond like career opportunities, but it's our own safe place where we could we come home and just do this thing. And I met so many autistic people with very unique special interests, such as mushrooms, tortoise, very specific, or just making beautiful art, whatever that may be, collecting things. So it's very important, I think, for parents. Also a very common special interest is just categorizing things. Maybe it's rock, or I have a young man who loves orange things. So that's his thing. He collects things from around the house that happens to be that particular color of the month. But what that has given him the ability is, one, is to persevere. Because when you have something in mind, right? I'm looking for this thing. You have to be resilient,
right?
And he also learns how to organize things.
I agree. I forgot who said this, but someone said that a great businessman. He stated that if you're going to build something, build it from a place of experience, not of a place of deficit or lack. So what that does is that gives you the best chance of success.
Right.
So you find out, you tap into what they're great at. You try to isolate that skill and say, how can we transition this skill set into a paycheck?
Right.
And so that's kind of what you're talking about right now, I think. And I think that's a great way for people with special needs or anybody else in general in life. That they should always build from a place.
Exactly. So special interests online classes is wonderful, because then I can have Kai, who's autistic, and he's in Australia, and his company is called Kaiko Fidgets, and that's what he does. He actually makes the fidgets. This is actually one of his fidgets, by the way, which I love. I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like kind of like little ball, like metal balls.
Yeah.
But he has different kinds, you see. So sometimes he makes these with a few friends, and I have interviewed him. So and I was planning to have Kai come back and just be able to set a good example for families, and nothing is too stupid or too small.
I agree.
Things that you do with your hands, things that you create.
Somebody invented the toothpick.
Right. Exactly.
I think it has a patent on it, and they've been making millions of dollars throughout the ages.
Exactly.
So I mean, think about that. So
exactly. Yeah. Yes. So that's the special interest course. Yeah, I just have lots of these ideas in my mind, but I'm just one person. Sure. So it's more fun to teach it with other autistic people of all ages, and who can show, parents and autistic teens, look at what I've created. This is my company. This is how I got started. This is, so we have online classes for this. One of our board members, Andrew Kamara, he's an autistic financial consultant. So in May, we're doing a class for families to learn about building autistic-owned home businesses.
That's right. That's right.
So that's going to be very exciting. So when we have autistic people
Interesting.
come in, we have Andrew and I can come in to talk about the special interests. Yeah, so we try to do what we can to really advocate and inspire. I get very anxious if I can. I don't like to just talk. I like to go to actually do things, be in the field, talk to people, and connect with other people, and that's what I like to do.
And that's of course that's very important, networking and building that circle, because it's only 24 hours in a day and you only have limited amount of energy, so you got 1,000 ideas, like I'm just like that as well. I got 1,000 ideas, 1,000 things I want to do in life. But it's only 24 hours in a day. I'm only one person, we're only two people, and we want to just make a bigger splash, a bigger impact. So people like yourself and people that we've been interviewing, we kind of keep them all in our back pocket, but when we are trying to do something bigger, you just pull everybody in. I mean, maybe you're a specialist at this area. We're good at this, and we can bring this to the table, and we all kind of pool our resources and do something, that's going to have a bigger impact on everybody that we're trying to serve.
We create our own circle of support.
Yeah. I think connecting with the right organization, the right people, is the best way to go, because we can't do this alone.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now, Maisie, you are part of our circle of support.
Yeah, thank you. Of course. And I think the more people you have, the better the party is, right?
Yeah.
Because we're trying to knock on doors to communities who may not know much about our mission, because maybe they don't know anyone. Or they don't know much about autism or Down syndrome or, mental health issues. Maybe they don't know. It's hard to do that. I'm tired of knocking on doors. Honestly, in 2019, I was thinking, well, we have so many gaming companies here in the Bay Area. Why don't I just talk to the CEOs? And, so I was like very naive. Like I went out to take one of the directors out to lunch and paid for the lunch. Only for this guy to tell me, the pace of creating these software and things like that, it's so fast. I could just feel the tone of his voice, like how skeptic he was. It's like he didn't even look at the tool that I developed, right? But it was after that I said, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore.
And plus when you go that route, you're asking people to now think outside their normal box, right? So now he has to stretch himself and say, hey, I got this organization. We're developing these games and this software and stuff like that. I know they probably can't do coding, but how can I fit a person with a particular special need into my organization and he can still be fulfilled and he can fulfill what we need him to fulfill? And it's a win-win for everybody involved. He would have to now take the time out of his day, critically think about a solution, and then apply it and come back to you with a solution. Some people, that process is unattractive.
Right.
They don't even want to use their brain muscle to And other people would be, well, you should contact this person. That's a really good idea. I love what you're doing. You should keep doing it. Maybe you should call this other company.
Instead of trying to help themselves, right?
Yes.
That was very
She's our phone person. She's on the phone. She handles all the grant related stuff. She's on the phone with all the local organizations, businesses nationwide. She's the one trying to make those phone calls. I'm kind of like the techie guy. I'm the everything else. And so she has those headaches.
And it's the rejection. And then you're saying to yourself, my goodness, what I'm doing, I think I'm doing a good thing. I think we're doing a great thing. We're not asking for monetary, like a come up. So we're literally here telling you, okay, there's a problem. We have the solution. Let's work together. And they're going, well, like you could see the wheels turning, like,
like how can I get out of this?
It's like, you know what, the money comes. Or it comes, the success of it comes if you just persevere, just keep it up.
Yeah.
because they have no one. And some of them are our age, and they have elderly parents, or their parents passed away, and literally they have no one.
Yeah.
Right.
So who's going to care enough for them?
Right.
So
Right.
we fear
I
that too
know.
for their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, just like anything, it's going to take time. It's going to take some more time. There were things that were not accepted, 15
Right.
years ago that are now accepted. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Some of those things are not really things that have moral value,
Right.
but some of those things are things that were very, very, impactful to society for those things to be accepted
Mhm.
and those type of people to be accepted, so maybe just some more time and more education,
Yeah,
and more
more time, but I think people don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that's the issue. And right now, it's very hard to get proper training from an autistic person. They're just not enough
Yeah.
Right.
people who can guide
Yes.
and help companies to really create their own inclusivity hiring process.
Yeah.
So Autism Career Pathways, within the next, hopefully 5 years, we want to build a robust online platform containing video training, short video training clips. So at the click of a button, if you own a bookstore, this is how that people can see, this is how you screen autistic people or neurodivergent people. And then this is how you guide them. These are the type of accommodations and updates. Like, this is the person, as part of our company culture and doing really well. And, just those little videos to show people that it is possible. And it's possible for a company, a small company, to actually embrace this process. I think what we have a lot is just feel good videos here and there, downloadables. A lot of the big companies, they're awesome pioneers in this, like Oracle, like all the tech companies. They share, of course, the process as much as possible, but there's so many neurodivergent people that's not their aptitudes. So I want to create a platform that can really show people how to do it, like just like YouTube. YouTube school. YouTube school. So that's the goal, is for the post-COVID, I want to find businesses, it doesn't matter where they are, to partner up with us and learn about the capable tool, and I can help them customize the tool, the screening tool, and I can help them provide the training, create accommodations, and so on. Create a self-disclosure process. Every company should say, we're hiring neurodivergent people, whether you have ADHD or you're autistic, or we're open to working with you. So if everyone can clearly say that, no one should hide. Because if you have to hide, it's not going to last long.
No.
I agree.
You're right.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like a one-stop shop
on the platform. Yes.
Right.
I want to show, like, hiring somebody, like working at the library would be very similar to working at a secondhand bookstore, or just your bookstore at the community, for example, right? What about working at a restaurant in places like that? And you would think, well, there's no way an autistic person can, because it's very noisy. And yet I know an autistic barber, CJ, he's in Arizona. He actually taught me how to cut my husband's hair on Instagram Live. It was
on
awesome.
Instagram Live?
Yeah, it didn't go very well. There was a patch in the back. That was my first time.
That's a learning curve right there.
That was last year. It was so much fun. Yeah, but I know how to cut my husband's hair and my son's hair now. But it's just so many autistic people doing wonderful careers, and you never know, because again, you think, oh well, an autistic person, there's no way you can have that kind of career because it's very loud, right? Working in a barber, working with clippers, they're very noisy. But when I interview them, there's always one common thing, that they had parents who really supported them.
Yeah.
You know, parents who never gave up and really nurtured them, and look at them today, you know, out there doing the advocacy. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the parents
Yeah.
deserve that, because they
Yeah.
literally give their lives to their children,
Right.
because they don't, it's not like they can move out on their own tomorrow, but which they can now. I'm not saying they can't. It's just, 9 out of 10 times they stay with the kid until they move on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, housing is another issue.
A lot of them are getting priced out the market. The rental market, they get priced out. I mean, I have one. I had one consumer named the artist, and every year they just raise his rent extra 50,
yes,
100 here, 100 there. After a while, he gets a certain Social Security income. He had a small part-time job.
Right.
He had a limited income. So I'm thinking, okay, in the next 2 or 3 years, how is he going to survive?
Yeah.
In the whole city of Tampa at that time, all the rent was going up.
Right.
And so that's another big issue. Housing.
That's another big issue.
Yeah.
We have so much issues like to tackle, and and I think, I talk about the curriculum for autistic youth and adults, and then I realized that I was creating the curriculum, I can't really do that without starting from the beginning, which is the early intervention curriculum, right? And so I am doing both. So behind the scene, I have teamed up with a group of neurodivergent professional specialists to create an early intervention parent training curriculum. It's the same idea. It's an online platform that is going to be accessible and research and accessible to parents from all over the world. And it's all about building positive autistic identity as early as possible. So right now, what we have for these little kids are a deficit and pathology model. Everything, all these therapies these kids have the moment they're given that report. I'm sorry, your child is autistic. You should do these 5 things on this report. It's all about fixing
it.
This human being. And parents don't know, they're just raising a human being. They're not raising a checklist. They're not raising. That's a sad thing, that it's like these therapies are now have become big businesses.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
It is funded, but it's big business and it's not good quality.
No.
People come to your house and do therapy for your child.
Yeah, a lot of these people are just, I think it has something to do with the quality of people as well, because and also the pay rate. A lot of these services that are rendered to the consumers, they're like $9 an hour, $11 an hour, and things like that. Because now you have to pay the agency. The agency gets the money from Medicaid or whatever, the Medicaid waiver program, right? And then they trickle down that money to the person who's providing the direct service, right? And that person is just kind of collecting a paycheck, making $9-10 an hour.
It's a business model.
Yeah, it's a business model, and it's no heart put into it. There's no soul and heart put into the whole thing.
Right. Very high turnover rate. And then plus, they have to drive all over. I used to do that as a behavioral therapist.
Yeah.
Like when
we were supported living coaches and employment coaches. So we did that for 15 years. Yeah. So we have about 25 years plus of combined experience doing it. And so we know exactly what the business model is. We went through all the classes, we went through all the training, all the audits that come along with that. Hands-on. We've changed a lot of lives during the 15 plus years that each one of us did it. So we know that from that standpoint, we don't have a child diagnosed with any special needs. We, as far as we know, we don't have any special need issues between us. And so we're just doing it from the heart, basically. And so even if you're going to make a paycheck in this industry, because you got to feed your own family. You got to keep a roof over your head. Totally understand that part of it. However, if you're going to do the job, do it with some type of integrity.
I understand. Yeah, that's very, I mean, I've always loved working with kids. I feel very comfortable working with autistic people of all ages, and I think because I share the same neurology, and that's probably why. But, sometimes I'm asked, like, how is it possible that you started working with this person when he was 7 years old and he's 21 now? It's possible because I see him as a person.
That's right.
It's a relationship first, right?
That's right.
He's not, yes, he's a client, but everything needs to be about your connection with that person first. There should be a curriculum about that.
It should
be.
That's a special skill. That's a special skill. And that's something you probably can't even teach, to be honest with you.
That's true.
Because you can teach love and integrity to somebody, but are they going to really get it?
Right.
It's something that they have to be, it's something that's internal.
You can't teach compassion.
You can't teach compassion. You just can't.
Right.
And I've noticed that it doesn't matter if you sit down with somebody in the room and you say, this is what the job is. This is the requirements. You can tell them all that good stuff.
Right.
But now when they go to put it in practice, what's the heart behind the action? That's
right. Right.
So that's where I think the disconnect is happening at. And then if you really want to see change, I mean, if we're talking about animals, human beings, it doesn't matter. If you treat somebody with a certain type of heart, they'll be more prompt to listen because they feel the energy behind what you're doing. If you're in a car with them for 15 to 20 minutes or even an hour, they know that, oh, he's just in the car with me. He doesn't really like me. Or if you're in a car with them and you're having fun with them and you're really engaging and stuff like that, they can feel that energy as well.
Yes.
And so when you say Kevin or JoJo or whatever the case is, hey, try to do this better at work next time. They're more prone to listen to you because they know that you're investing time, energy, and effort into them.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. So I think that's the curriculum that I'm developing. We really, instead of focusing on the individual, we provide guidance for the support and care team to really look at themselves first.
Nice.
So that's what we do. Whether you're a mentor at work, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a parent, if you are in that position to guide someone else, that means that you should be ready to look at yourself and to think about what are my strengths that I can pass along.
That's great.
To the apprentice, the client, the student, whatever, my child, right? What are the best qualities that I can use and pass along to the apprentice? And what are things that I don't do well myself? What are my personal biases? What are my implicit and explicit biases? Because I have to get rid of it. Like every day I have to get rid of it. And I think that's what the curriculum is all about, is to really teach people. It doesn't matter if they are going to be in the position to guide somebody, whether you're a parent or you're a clinician, an educator, or mentors at work, businesses, you got to be leaders. Do you know how to lead?
Right.
A lot of people don't know how to lead. Like full inclusion, it looks good on the website, but nobody really knows how to do that well. Because you got to dig deep.
Yeah, you definitely have to. I mean, just based on our conversation, it sounds like you're the perfect person to create that type of program and that type of training. So I just want to congratulate you on having that type of mindset, because we've dealt with a lot of people. Recently we've been dealing with people who are either they used to be on the fence about that, and now they're kind of coming over to the other side, or the side of the light. But it seems like you're already in that place, and creating that training, I think, is going to be very beneficial to a lot of people. So congratulations. And
well, I haven't done anything yet.
I'm talking about just the future thought.
But what you have here, it's a blueprint, which is what you need.
And plus, everything starts with an idea, right?
That's right.
The idea happens first. When you ponder it, you think about it, you consider all the steps and all the investment that's going to go into it, and then you take action. So you have to plan. You have to plan a building first, like before you actually start the construction, right? Same
Yes.
process. So I mean, I love the page that you're on and the path that you're on. I think it's going to be very impactful for a lot of people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And in our experiences, we do see where the employer comes to us, even though we don't do vocational rehab.
Right.
But of course, you wear all the hats. You know, you get paid for one thing,
Yeah.
but honestly, you got to do it all, right? So then the employers will come to us and say, you know what? They're better employees than everyone else that I have here. And then they start now rethinking, okay, maybe I am more open to a more diverse people, you know, than what they consider the norm. And they give it their all. You teach them how to do it, and they take it and they run with it.
They have incredible work ethics.
Yes,
now that I'm out on social media, on Instagram, I get messages very often about people like saying, oh my gosh, I got fired again, or I have to start at an entry level again, and hoping that my supervisor would notice my qualities. You know, that it's heartbreaking for me.
Yes.
Many autistic women are in this position where they cannot fully disclose. So and then when they get fired, they don't see it coming. You know, and it happens all the time. Yeah.
Well, Maisie, I mean, I truly appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today. Is there anything else that you would like to add to the conversation? And before we kind of break up, go our separate ways, I want you to kind of give everybody a way that they can contact you and support you as well.
Well, I'm very proud of all of our upcoming events for April. We have 2 online autistic art auctions, one on live Facebook with the autistic grandma, and the other one with on live Instagram with Caitlin Stamus. And so this is to spotlight autistic art makers of different kinds. It's just to also shine positive all things about autistic people. We have these 2 events for April. In May, we have the online class for parents and youth on building autistic-owned home businesses.
Nice.
So make sure you guys come to that.
Definitely.
Our YouTube channel, Autism Career Pathways, which I don't take care of it. I don't have time to really take care of the YouTube channel, but I'm quite proud of it because I interview autistic people to talk about their career journeys. Nice. So coming up, I'm interviewing Erin. She works for the Memphis Grizzlies. If you're in sports, not like me, my special interest is basketball and all things NBA. Talk to me. I'm super excited to interview Erin, and I put all these interviews on Autism Career Pathways YouTube channel. And people can go over there if they don't know which way they want to go work-wise or what kind of schooling they want to focus on. They can listen to these interviews because I have people talk about the pros and cons working in their career. Other than that, Autism Career Pathways is working really hard to make a difference by creating the how-to tools. So if people can support us by donating or buying autistic products, autistic created products, there is a tab on our website that says Autistic Own. And I try to create as a list of different categories there, services, food products, just support autistic adults. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the website? It's Autism Career
Pathways.
Pathways.com. .org. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Well, we ask our viewers to comment down below, engage in a conversation, any questions you may have. We want the engagement and we welcome it. So comment, like, subscribe.